Yo, what's up, yo? Welcome back to another tutorial video. As you can see, we're going paper today just to keep it fresh. Also, I've been, sketching on paper a lot more lately. Want to get back into it this new year. But anyway, one of you guys had requested to do a tutorial on drawing the pelvis slash hips. And we're gonna break it down for you guys today and give you guys the basics, you know what I'm saying? So as you all know, we simplify things when we're drawing. But when I'm thinking about the hips or just the pelvic bone in general, I simplify it into this bowl shape. Imagine like a ramen bowl or just any kind of rounded bowl, all right? Like this. It's hollow on the inside and then it has a curving at the bottom, okay? Now, we all know what an actual pelvis looks like, but we're artists, and as an artist we don't have time to draw all of that stuff when we're trying to construct characters. So instead we break it down to make it simple. So drawing a bowl like this and then adding like 2 circles on the side and then 2 lines off those circles is basically how we create a simplified pelvic bone for our drawing, okay? Now, unless you're trying to draw a skeleton, there's no real reason to draw all the intricate details that a pelvic bone actually looks like, because our job as an artist is to make life easier for us to create what we want, okay? So thinking about the pelvic bone like this is the way to go, all right? It's just a bowl, 2 circles on the side, 2 smaller circles, and then 2 lines that come off of it, 2 cylinder shapes, and those represent the actual bone structure. All right, like our bones have a slight protrusion off of the actual shape, and then it goes downward into our legs and stuff like that. And from a side view, you can see that it is slightly tilted. Okay, the bowl has a tilt to it, kind of like it's on an angle. All right, and this is how the pelvic bone looks from a side view, because as you all know, the human body has like a very subtle stagger, like a zigzag stagger to it. That's how we are able to balance ourselves, able to stand up straight. So without this, if we were to just stand straight up, we would probably fall over a lot often. But this balances out our weight. So that's why the pelvic bone has a slight tilt to it. Okay, you can see the top of the pelvic bone just like that. All right, and thinking about it like this in this simplified format is going to be much easier for you to construct characters or just drawings in the future. All right, so that is the trick. So if you know how to draw a bowl with some weird looking bumps on the side and some cylindrical shaped lines, then it should be easy to draw the pelvis or hips area, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how it would work in an actual drawing, okay? So we're going to draw our bowl shape. I'm going to pick just a random angle. I'm going to have it more tilted. You can see the bowl tilts because you can draw this bowl in any angle, okay? This is how you get the poses you want. All right, so I'm going to have a slight tilt to it. I'm going to draw in our bones, okay? These are bone muscle, or our bone anatomy, okay? One leg kind of dipped off to the left, and the other one's up high, okay? Creating this kind of slight, tilted angle, okay? Now I'm going to draw a line dividing that bowl in half, and we can go from this line making a V shape up, just like so, and we're going to start drawing in our leg muscles, okay? As you know, our legs aren't that skinny unless you're very anorexic or you're just trying to draw like a robot. But what you want to do is lighten your actual bone structure and use that to add your actual anatomy on top of. And you can see we're drawing in the thighs, drawing in our thigh, and we're going to be going down like so. And just like that, we have created our hips, okay? We use that structure we made as a building block, as a guide, so we can actually draw the legs how they should look on the body. All right, And like I said, this technique works for both male or female. But like I said, it doesn't really matter what gender, okay? What I will say, the only difference is if you're drawing a male, the bowl shape for the pelvis is going to be slightly smaller than the bowl for the women, okay? Just make the bowl a little bit smaller, and and that's pretty much how it works. Not so much, not so wide. Pretty much. So just a wider bowl for female hips, more of a narrow bowl or a smaller bowl for the male hips. They're gonna pretty much be the same exact length as the rib cage. But that's pretty much our first pose. Our second one, we'll do a side view. We're gonna have that tilt of the pelvis. We're gonna draw in our circle, and then we're going to draw in our bone structure. Now, you don't necessarily have to draw the bone in. It's just, like I said, it's a guide. You don't really need to do that. A line will do, just doing a straight line. Because like I said, you're going to erase it anyway. So if you don't want to add the line, you don't have to. But as long as you know which angle the hips are going to be going at, then it will help you. And then, of course, building on top of that, drawing in the actual meat of the leg. And that's pretty much how it's going to look. As you can see, we have the legs from the side view. I'm going to do the other one. It's going to be slightly covered, of course, because it's going back in perspective. And we are pretty much done with our second one. Okay, I'm going to put it in some shadow so you can see it better, but here's how it looks from the side view. All right. And like I said, I'm showing you guys kind of an intermediate / beginner kind of way to do it. Now we're gonna do a back view, okay? Now the back view, we're not gonna see the hollow area of the bowl. It's kind of like you're looking at the bottom of the bowl, but you're gonna see, we're gonna add the circles on the one side. We're gonna do this one slightly at an angle this time. And you can see the one leg going like this, other one going like that. And now we can split the bowl into halves, and we can start drawing in our anatomy following that bowl shape. Right now we're drawing the glutes, and just like that, we have successfully drawn in the hip area for our characters. And like I'm just showing you, there's a few different angles because I'm just letting you guys know that this method does work with different poses. One thing that some people have said is that when I show a method, it's only from like the front view. But I want to show you guys that this works for all angles. So back view, front view, side view, what doesn't matter. This bowl works for all of that, okay? So depending on which method you go for whenever you're drawing your figure, what you want to do is just start off by drawing out your basic rib cage or whatever. I know some people like to construct their characters with rib cage first. However you start with the character doesn't matter, but just draw out your body, how it goes. I'm going to draw like a circle. Everything is still going to be broken up into shapes. I'm going to draw out the center line for the rib cage. And we're going to draw out our stomach area, waist area, whatever you want to call it. And then once we're done with that, we're going to draw in our bowl, okay? I attach the bowl at the bottom just like this, curve it off, and you can see we have this kind of angle, the body's tilted. And now we're going to add our actual bumps on the side to show off that how the legs come out. And then we're going to draw our lines to guide where the legs are going to be posed, okay? These lines can pretty much go in any pose you want. I'm going to go in a standing pose for now. And then once you're done with that, we have our figure. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add in the actual details by coming in and drawing the hips just like so, and then attaching that to the pelvic the pelvic region, and we're gonna go off and draw on the thighs. And this is how I would incorporate it into an actual figure, okay? So as you can see, it's pretty simple. Pretty simple. Just pretty much add a little bowl shape at the bottom and then connect it like so. Of course, we're going to erase all the construction lines that we no longer need, and then we're going to wrap it around. I'm showing the lines because the guidelines show, like, the form or the angle of the body. So I'm showing those lines there to help, help indicate that, that is in 3D. Adding in a belly button like so. And just like that, we have incorporated this bowl method into a full-on figure. And all we really did was just attach the bowl at the bottom of the actual character. Very simple, very easy, once you get the hang of it, of course. And now you can start drawing in your actual anatomy and all the construction that you need. And just like that, you have your figure. You can, of course, go in and finish it off. You can add your arms and your shoulders and all that stuff. We're not going to go into full detail right now because this video is supposed to just focus on just the hips and the pelvis, not really focusing on the construction of the anatomy. So as you can see, that is pretty much how it works. Just by doing a simple little bowl shape, you can simplify the pelvis and draw it in any different, any kind of angle. All right, because let's be honest, it will be very difficult to draw the pelvis or draw anything if we had to actually draw every single intricate detail. Like, the human body and anatomy is so complex. That's why anatomy is one of the hardest things to learn. It's because the human body is so complex. All right, I mean, that's the reason why it's so difficult to learn. And that's why some people find it so difficult and hard to learn anatomy. It's because of all the intricacies that go on. But that's what we do around here, is we take that intricate stuff and we simplify it so that our little brains can actually digest it and we can actually process what's going on. Okay, so if you learn how to break it down into as simple as form, something as simple as a bowl shape, it ends up making this very complex structure much easier to draw and manage, so you can draw as your characters. So now I'm going to show you guys a few more drawings of me applying it in an actual character or an actual full-on body, and just showing how I would go about doing this, because there is an even easier way to actually incorporate this bowl shape method of drawing the hips into your characters. So right now I'm just going to be showing you guys some speed sketches of me just drawing and using this method in action and how I would apply it to figures. Notice that I'm still using these basic shapes and breaking them down, but also still using that bowl shape and bowl method to draw in the hip area. This is pretty much how we want to go about it and how to apply this to your own drawings. So keep this in mind whenever you're drawing your figures, and hopefully, I made your life a little bit easier in terms of drawing the hips on your characters. So with that, let's end this little speed paint. That is my method on drawing the hips / pelvis area for your figures. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you guys found this video helpful or not. If you guys did, let me know. If you guys didn't, that's fine. There's gonna be more videos coming soon, and I might be doing even more tutorials on paper just because it's convenient, and also saves battery because I've been putting my tablet to the ringer. Again, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next videos coming soon. So peace out.